Welcome to our 14th developer update. We're excited to provide an update on the progress of our game's development. Unlike previous devlogs, this one might be a bit different. Instead of showcasing new features we're working on, we're currently focused on integrating all of our systems and features, working towards ensuring they all function seamlessly together. Before we begin, we have an exciting announcement. On April 23rd, we are planning to host a community event. 10 months ago, we held our first test of our weapon framework. Since then, we've made considerable improvements and have seen a massive increase in the number of active members in our community. On April 23rd, we want to host a team deathmatch event where players can choose to fight as Combine or Citizens. This will test the improvements in our weapon framework as well as give our incredible player base something engaging as they patiently await the game. We're currently in the process of constructing a brand new map for this event, which will likely be used as the entrance to the quarantine zone within City 17 in a future update. This event will last 48 hours, starting on April 23rd at 6 p.m. CEST and ending on April 25th, 48 hours later. We are very excited to host this event and can't wait to see you all there. Be sure to join our Discord for more details. We have developed a streamlined and efficient process for our development workflow. Initially, all new features moving forward are developed within a place we are calling the codebase. This is also where we are currently in our development. This environment serves as the most unstable version of the systems we create, and it's where we anticipate major issues to occur with new systems going forward. Once features are designed and implemented into the codebase, they undergo rigorous bug testing until we reach a point where the codebase is stable and all systems are working as intended without any game-breaking issues or bugs. After reaching the stable version of the codebase, we then import all of the new code into an unstable version of City 17 called Unstable Game. We then conduct even more rigorous tests to ensure that all of the imported code from the codebase is truly stable and that we didn't miss anything or encounter any problems from the change of environment. After we have determined that the unstable or testing version of the game is stable, we then publish it to the live version of City 17. Each environment acts as a filter to ensure that as we push updates, they are done with the highest degree of caution in mind, and that we do not risk pushing updates that could hinder or disrupt the player experience within the live version of the game. So on to our bug fixes. Initially, all the systems we had developed for the game were done independently of each other. When it was time to import them into the codebase, some of the systems conflicted with one another, causing major bugs that had to be addressed. One of the first systems that encountered issues was the ragdoll system. Initially, when players reset or were killed, the ragdolls had a strange tendency to float away. In addition, ragdolls tended to move sporadically and posed a threat of flinging players if they came into contact with them. We made significant progress on the ragdolls, making them much more predictable from when we initially started, but we haven't been able to eliminate all of the strange behavior from occurring. As things currently stand, we are very close to making this system fully stable. Although we do occasionally still encounter bugs with the behavior of the ragdoll physics, it has become much more predictable, and we should have it fully polished very soon. We experienced some issues with the interfaces not working as intended, such as the supply crate interface and the player interact interface failing to load initially. There were also problems with item icons failing to appear within the player hotbar, but this issue has now been resolved. When we did get the supply crate interface button to work, we encountered an issue with items failing to transfer into the player inventory. We also noticed a minor issue with the NPC shopkeeper interface failing to work as intended, causing an overlap of UI elements. Additionally, the Combine radio was causing an issue where players were unable to switch between channels, and at one point, the radio and chat interfaces were unable to be interacted with at all. We also ran into problems with the proximity prompts for things like crate and trash not appearing when players approached them. Supply crates and player interaction features are now working as expected, with items seamlessly transferring into the player inventory. Proximity prompts are also functioning as intended. Additionally, the shopkeeper is now fully functional. All that remains is adjusting the position of the interface element to prevent overlap with the hotbar. The Combine radio has also been fixed, allowing players to navigate through the different division-specific channels. We encountered an issue with the ammo crate system where the item models would not break open when damaged. However, ammo crates can now be damaged and broken apart, enabling players to collect a variety of different ammo types. Additionally, we ran into an issue with the health vial tools being unable to be picked up and not functioning as intended when equipped, which we are still working to resolve, but we anticipate will be an easy fix. We also encountered several animation issues. Initially, animations only work for the client, while other players appear to be in a constant shuffle. In some instances, the animations failed to load altogether. In other scenarios, the animations reverted to the Roblox default ones, which looked less than ideal. We are pleased to say that all these animation issues have been resolved, and all players now consistently utilize the custom animations we have designed without any more issues. We also encountered some problems with equipping weapons. For instance, players were able to equip multiple weapons at once, and while this resulted in some interesting combinations, it definitely wasn't something we intended. One feature we had been working on to add a bit of extra polish to the game was the mechanic allowing players to hold onto their weapon after death. However, this feature didn't always work as intended, and in some cases, it caused ragdolls to fuse with their items, creating some interesting scenarios. We also encountered a problem after players initiated trades or picked up an item from another player. The original owner would fuse with the item, and when equipped by the new owner, it would cause the two players to merge. Additionally, we were up against an issue where some of the player weapon animations would break, and the reload animations would be triggered endlessly. We also had an issue where players were not receiving recently traded items from the trade interface. Players can no longer equip multiple items at once, and the feature that allows players to cling to their items after death is working as expected. We've also resolved all issues related to players merging. Reload animations have been fixed, and the trade interface now consistently allows player trades without any bugs. Another interesting bug we've encountered is an issue that causes the players to fly upon entering first person. However, we've successfully narrowed it down and determined it's a collision issue present only when a player uses the Enforcer Combine morph. Since identifying the issue, we were able to resolve it quickly. We also encountered a bug with players being unable to receive damage due to collision issues, making Combine and Citizens unable to be damaged. However, we've made the necessary modifications to the morphs and have fixed this problem. Initially, the loot mechanic was causing some problems. When players looted items from fallen players, equipping those newly gained items would cause the player to be thrown into the void. Occasionally, when attempting to loot a player, their corpse would not separate from the item, which created a lot of interesting scenarios to say the least. In our attempt to fix this, we managed to break the loot interface altogether. But now, we have resolved all these issues, and the looting mechanic has become an incredibly polished and interactive feature, working exactly as it should. Initially, we had encountered some issues with the weather system, where after a weather event would take place and then dissipate, it would change the atmospheric effects of the environment. This has now been fixed to maintain the same effects before and after weather events. The trash system is still undergoing bug fixes. We encountered a problem where searching through trash would trigger the animations of every player in the game. In addition, we had been experiencing issues such as the discovery interfaces for trash items not appearing when searching through the trash, and some of the trash item icons not displaying within the player inventory. Additionally, we ran into an issue where disposing of garbage into dumpsters does not immediately remove the thrown away items from the player's inventory. And for some reason, the first few attempts cause the item to duplicate instead of being disposed of. This is a feature we are very confident we can resolve quickly. At times, citizens would tend to spawn into the game head first, but this has now been fixed. Lastly, we also experienced an issue with citizen clothing, but luckily, this has now been resolved. We know this is a bit different from our typical devlog updates, but we hope you found it just as informative. Our developers have been working tirelessly to resolve all these issues and to make sure this game is the best it can be. At the moment, we are very close to having a stable version of the codebase, which means the release of the game is imminent and should take place very soon. Be sure to participate in our upcoming community event on April 23rd. We can't wait for you to experiment with the features we've been developing. Also, join our Discord to receive real-time updates on future events. As always, we encourage all of you to leave detailed comments and suggestions in both our YouTube comments and on Discord. We review and listen to all your feedback. Your suggestions are at the heart of how this game is shaped. Thank you again for all your support. We are truly grateful to be making a game for such a dedicated and supportive player base. Thank you all, and until next time, stay immersed in the world of City 17.